Hello there. I want to share something that I learned with JIra with the free version. Um I had we had just started school and our first week of school, and like day 2 I started getting these emails stating that my rules were failing in JIra. So I have some automation rules set up in JIra. Okay, this is the wrong project. So let me go to the right project. Well, since I'm here at this particular project, I have 2 um, rules, and the last time they ran was the 17th. Okay, success. They were success, and my usage on it is I don't run them that often. Okay, I run them like once a week because that's how long my sprints are. My sprints are once a week. This is my personal sprint in this particular project. Um, Now the kids project, the school projects, is a little bit different. So these automation rules are the ones where I think it's 7 of them. Yeah, 7. And the last time it ran was successfully, that is, was the 15th. Okay. So start on the 16th, the rules started breaking down. Okay. And if we go and look at the show me, why was it aborted? It says that the monthly rule executions have been exceeded. So, and I have the free version, okay? There's a limitation on how many times that the rules can be executed. So I didn't realize that. There's some kind of article about it, and I did find the article before. I wonder if I can. I don't want to pull up my history. Maybe I do. Let me see if I can pull up my history real fast. And I think I was discussing this at least in the last 7 days for sure. Um, and let's see if I can not take a long time to figure it out. Maybe I look for execution. Execution. Let's see if something comes up. Here we go. So, yeah, someone talked about the issue here. And what are my usage limits? I think yes, this is where it is. So, my Jira project is a business project, I think it is. So, if I go here and click these here to see more options, this is a um where am I at? Oh, right here. Right here. Business project. Okay. Team manage. So it's a business project. So the business project, 100 rules. I get to run 100 rules before the thing flunks out on me. Now, first, let's read the top. It says that usage limits vary by product and plan, but they always reset at the beginning of each month. So the rest of August, we're not going to be able to take advantage of the automation I created. Unused executions from the previous month will not roll over. Okay, so no rollover usage. Um, and here's I think I need to read this. So in the future, usage beyond existing usage limits will incur additional charges based on consumption. I don't like that. And maybe they don't have no credit card information about me. Mine is just going to break down and not work. It looks like they're just going to start charging people, those that are paying, right? And maybe I should read the beginning part too. For a limited time, customers on the Premium and Cloud Enterprise Atlassian editions will have access to advanced components within the Atlassian acceptable use policy. In the future, usage beyond existing usage limits will incur additional charges based on consumption. At that time, organization admins will have tools to monitor and manage consumption and will be able to purchase additional capacity. Okay. So let's go back because I want to actually I want to show you one more thing about these rules, and it shows me my usage. So here I can look and see which rules was being used more than others. And this top one is my add definition of done description, which I added in every product and well, every item, calling it product, but every task has this in it when I created this rule, whenever I created it. Okay. It was not the first rule I created. So a lot of these, now this one right here, when an issue is transitioned, then automatically assigned. It has the same amount as these two. This second one here, this third one here. Issue is transition, then add start date and end date. So I was thinking that and I did a lot of testing too this month as well too. So a lot of my activity is going to come from testing as well. If I look at these numbers, I don't think I'm going to exceed 100 for sure. And um I don't know if well, let me just say this. I'm thinking about combining these two rules together because they are associated with each other. You see they both run. They have the same, they're synced up for sure. And I think I did create these two rules on the same day. And I was creating rules that I didn't quite understand, right? But I think I'm beginning to understand a little bit better. I think I can combine these because what's happening with these rules, issue is transition. When an issue is transition, that's really the same thing. When it is, then automatically assign, and this is when it's transitioning from. Both of these are transitioning from to do. So when it goes to do, it automatically assigns a person. It gives it a start date and an end date. This could be one rule, okay? And move. Let's see, move item back to do. This has to stay by itself. I don't think there's a rule that needs to go with this one, because what this rule is doing is when the rule is moved back to do. Um, I don't want it to be assigned to anyone. And so when it transitions, so it is a transition as well too, okay? Move back. I probably should use the word transition, but and also it removes the start date and the due date. So it sort of resets it back to a clean state. And then once because sometimes what happened is, what if AJ picks up Elizabeth work or somebody else's work? They could just put it back over there. No harm, no foul. Now, email grades can be combined with when done, check for the grade. Um, so these two could be combined as well. So when it's in done, I'm checking to make sure the grade is there. If the grade is not there, it sends it back to in progress. And instead of um and then this here runs when it checks for a grade too. So both of these are checking, got the same check. They're checking for the grade. If the grade is there, it sends me an email. If the grade is for this last one, if the grade is there, then it'll stay and done. Okay. So these two can there's could be some conditions that can combine these two together. So that'll have a less execution of rules, a less usage for the rules. And let's look at July, because July I think is when so I still had all seven rules in July, and I was pumping out these descriptions, creating new requests. I was pumping them out. And the reason why the usage is different on these is apparently I created this one first, automatically assigned, and then I was like, wait a minute, I think I can add the date. So I created a new rule to add the date. So they ended up, and these here, apparently I created these all three on the same day. And I think I just got happy about creating tasks at that point. and a task is near due. Oh, and this one right here, this is a template rule. This is just when a task is near the due date that an email reminder is sent out to the students. Just sort of remind them these these projects are due in or these tasks are due within 3 days is all that is. Just a friendly reminder. Everybody don't even use email. Maybe now I'm systematically coming in here every day looking, so I don't have to have a reminder because I can just go, and do what I need to do. So I hope that is, if you didn't know about the usage, that's why the rules stopped working. Because I thought something was wrong with my rules, and I thought that some of the things I was using in the rules were deprecated. Because there was some things that got deprecated at the end of, I think on the 21st, or getting ready to be deprecated or something. I didn't really read the note completely, but I thought my rules were being impacted by that, but probably not. So now I can go and do that. And matter of fact, so it's been 11 minutes. I'm going to see if I can combine these two. I'm going to put myself under pressure here and see if I can combine these two rules, the transition rules. Let's do the grade one first. So um, let me see which rule is better, because one of these rules, when done, check for grade and email grades. Let's look at the email grades and see. So the email grade, what I'm doing is from in progress to done. So I'm not expecting anything to come from. This may be a handicap here, um, but but the rule is that it must be in progress. The status has to be in progress, and then it has to be moved to done, which does make sense. Um, and it has to come from the progress state and transition to done. Now, if the grade is empty, um, excuse me, if the grade is not empty, okay, which makes way more sense. And I'm just looking for grade, and actually here, and if the grade is not empty, then go ahead and send that information about the issue, and send me the grade information, right? The label, I got the stuff I want. So this one is just seeing if the grade is not empty. So let's go look at the other one, because we just got two little things going on here. If this, then send an email. The grade is not empty. So let's go look at the other one. Well, let's return the rules. And so the other one is when done, check for grades. Let's see this one. This one's better. So if the grade is empty or the possible points is empty. So I'm looking for both in this one. So then transition the work to, if they're empty, I transition the work back to in progress. And here I could actually take this same rule and switch it the other way. So let's copy this one. So I'm gonna duplicate it. Okay. And here I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change this to grade is, let me move this over here out the way. Grade is not empty. Okay. Or the possible points is not empty. Okay, let's go to next here. So now, instead of saying transition to work to in progress, we are going to we're going to probably go over there and copy and paste from the other rules. So let's update this rule for a second, and let's go back to the other rule, because I really want to email grades. I want to actually copy this stuff. So let me put this on a clipboard somewhere so I can have it. Let's put it on a notepad somewhere so I can have it. Okay, let's just copy it so we can have that information. And it looks like I'm also emailing this, sending the email to this person here. Okay. And I typed it in there. Okay. So let's return back to the rules. We got what we need. Let's go back to when it's done. So here, we're going to basically delete this. And then we're going to add a then. We're going to look for send an email, which is a very popular thing to do apparently. Okay. And I think I wanted to change something. I think I want to say something different here instead of saying record grade for um grade grade for whoever the person is ready. Okay. And let's send it to come on. Okay. So it's going to add the email. We're going to tab it down. And for whatever reason, it didn't stay. Why is it not staying? Mm. I'm technically the reporter. Okay. I can put the reporter in here because I am the reporter and I can just get the email because I'm the one that put all these in here. But I'm pretty sure. Okay. I just press enter. And there's blind copies and all that kind of stuff that can get these emails. Let's do a blind copy too. Mm, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see what I'm looking for. We don't have any approvers. We don't have any for this particular thing. We're not gonna worry about that. So no, none of that. Go ahead and press next. So we have to wait to see if this rule is gonna work next month. So, and let's go ahead and usually I like to run a validation rule on it so I can kind of check to just make sure there's nothing quirky there. So let's return back here. I'm going to disable the email rule, okay, because this is probably going to replace this, right? When done, check for grade. And then the other one is we're going to transition. Let's see which one is. So it may make sense to assign automatically. It's one that has to be changed. Let's look at this one. This one is a really simple rule. Here I remove that. So when it's in progress, whoever puts it in progress get it assigned to them. Okay. And I think I probably should put it. I'm trying to think. Let's think about this. If it's in done, I don't want it to conflict with the other rule, right? Because if it's in, because automation is doing the moving it back to progress. So you know what? I'm leaving it up here. Actually, I don't have to worry about this one. This is the rule we're gonna disable anyway. But I'm gonna make sure that the from the status is because the process should be that it's coming from to do. Okay, we're gonna make sure it's coming from to do. Okay. The only thing I'm doing here is the user who triggered the event. It's all I'm doing. The user who triggered the event, assign the work item to the user who triggered the event. It's the only thing I'm doing here. So let's go back to the rules. Let's look for this one here. And here I am when a work item is transition. So let's go ahead and put from to do to in progress. We're gonna leave it like that. I like to press next because I wanted to kind of save it or whatever. I don't know if I have to do that or not. So edit the start date now to a business day. So it's just gonna put the next business day in there. If it's labeled 1 week, okay, so this is start date. Okay, so whenever it's moved over, it's starting. If it's a weekend, it should put a Monday. Okay, everything else should put a weekday because of it's a weekday. Then if it's 1 week, then it's going to do this. If it's okay, so it's going to do all these. These statements are just basically trying to put a due date based on a label that I added. So I think here when I put a start date, I can also assign it to the user here. So I can add a component here and we want to assign. I think that's what it was called, right? Um, assign the work item, user who triggered the event. Assign the work item to a specific user. No, not a specific user. Is that right? That's what it was, right? Uh-oh. I thought I already said a specific user. And user who triggered the event. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Now, so it gives a start date and it gives it to the user who triggered the event. Okay. And then um yeah. So sweet. And then it's all the dates. Now if if it doesn't have a tag to tell us what date, I'm seeing it's a week. I'm trying to figure out if that's what I really want. Make it a week. Because the books doesn't necessarily. I think the default should be 2 weeks. I'm going to set the default to 2 weeks instead of 1 week, so it should be 10 days. Okay, let's go. So the default is going to be 10 days instead of 5 days. We're going to make it 10 days. Okay. Okay, we're going to update this rule. Okay. We could change the name of this rule. Issue transition, and then add date, assign, and assign. Add date, add start date, end date. We don't need okay. And we could put a description in here too. We really should do descriptions. You should make a habit of making sure you have a description. Um, um, will automatically assign to the user from to do to in progress. Um, set the start date based on uh, same for next business day. Set the end date based on the time box labels. Okay. So now it has a description. I think it is a good rule to have description for your um for your rules. Okay. And now the when the issue is transitioned and automatically assigned, this one can be disabled now. So this rule can be disabled as well. Okay. So move item back to do. So all I was doing there, um, I think, yeah, if it's in a to do status, basically, and if the issue is assigned, then I want to unassign it. Okay. Uh, uh, due date is not empty. Then I'm going to set those to null. Okay, that's what I'm doing here. Okay, edit the work item. The due date is null. The start date um, is null as well. Okay, I don't know why it looks like this. I don't know why it doesn't look like this. You would think it looks like this instead of that, but it's blank, and I think it does the same thing as null. I guess. So the due date is null. Let's see. I don't know. We're gonna put it in there. I think it's supposed to go there. And let's update it. And it looks like we can go here and um let's update it. Okay. The rules details. Let's go here and say move item back to do. When an item when the task is moved back to do the all dates are removed. Okay. So now that's updated now. Okay, so now we got a little bit of that going on here. Let's go back and look at the rules here. Now we're just hoping they work. Okay. At the end of the day, we're hoping they work. And yeah. So see, they have this is I didn't put this in here, of course, because this is a template. And when done, check for grade. This is the one. Wait a second. Yeah, we should have put put one in for this one too. So make sure the grade and possible points are provided if hold on, let's do it that way. If if grade and possible points are not provided, the task will automatically return to in progress. If the grade and possible points exist, then it will email the reporter with with the grade information, with the grade details. Okay. Yeah. So you probably don't have to see all of that. But there we go. We have some rules that we are now using. We disabled two. I have to think about this and definition of done description. I'm gonna disable this one for now because I don't know if I like having the definition of done description in there right now. First of all, one thing is if you create a item and you want to put in your own description, it deletes it and just replaces it with the definition of done, and that's not what I want either. So I'm gonna disable this one for now and see if I want to bring it back into play later, and maybe it'll be a little bit the description will be a little bit different. Maybe not cover the definition of done, not the complete definition, maybe a partial. But also, I needed to be able to, if you wanted to add something yourself, you need to be able to add something in your description as well when you're creating that task as well. I want that option. Right now, it does not do that. I don't know how to do that. I was trying to research and find out, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, so this is gonna work. So next month, we should not come across our limit with having now we have 4 rules and, um, yeah, and it they this oh, yeah, actually, I think there was something here where I wanted to deal with this. It's sent the issue is sent, and when it's due in 3 days. I thought there was a time period when I was running this bad boy. Uh, okay, right here. So, start date, I put the 18th. So I'm sort of starting this anew, basically. And it's gonna end at the end of the year, and it occurs rule every one day at 8 a.m. So the 20th, show next 10 runs. Let me see what that looks like. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. See, this is where I feel like I don't think I wanted to run like every single day. So run rule every 1 week. Let's go to 1 week. And we'll run it on I think we can get away with running it on Thursday, I think. 3 days before it's due. Most things are due on a Friday. So, um, let's put it on a Wednesday. We'll run it on a Wednesday. Yeah, we're running on a Wednesday. So now it runs once a week. And maybe I should do it Thursday. Let's do it Thursday because what I think is if they still have it open on Thursday, they'll get an email reminding them, look here, you got work to do. Let's do Friday. Um, the likelihood of everybody waiting till Friday to do their work or to get the grading is I'm hoping it's gonna be slim. Okay, so that next 10 runs, look at that. So it'll run 5 times in September, 5 times in October. Okay, so it just that's less time running, so that's cool. I think that's better. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, let's update that. So now I did all of that basically trying to stay within the usage, right? So hopefully the usage is gonna be a little bit better. And because if we go to the audit log, you see well, this is showing all the changes I made today. But you see these aborts? It's a lot of aborts. The last time it was success was on the 15th, and no more success after the 15th. Okay. So I racked it up. You see what happens. And it's interesting that the usage is showing 103. It's like it hit the, which I don't know how, I don't think this usage count that they have is 100% accurate due to the fact that this says 103 for the month and this has 38. You know what I'm saying? So there are rules in here running, and I don't think that this is over 100 basically is my point. So I don't know. So it's not a perfect usage count for sure. Well, the rule picking it out or whatever, right? I think there must be a threshold, right? So the programmer wanted to make sure, and actually that sort of does make sense because if you remember the premium and the other people, they get to go over their count too. Um, and that's of course going to change. So I'm assuming that's the same thing that's going to happen to the free. I was able to go over my count um this month for sure. I don't think I went over the count here. It seemed like I went over the count here, slightly over the count here too. In June, I didn't even have them. So, but July is where I started to begin to try to do some automation, trying to get ready for school. That was going to start in August. And then this month I got hot and heavy into the rules. Okay. A lot of this was of course testing, but then I got really heavy into started the rules actually being used. Yeah. So when something is created, um, but guys, since I'm in these rules, I want to show you one of the rules I created um that I really like. So let's go here and see if we can get to it. I'm pretty sure there's another way to get to this automation stuff, but here we are. I'm going to this particular project. So let's go look at the backlog for just a second. If you look here, I have how many items? 15 work items in this sprint, my current sprint. Now, this is my backlog, okay? I have not created another sprint yet for next week, which I need to. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to create a sprint here. Okay. So I set the name up so it can just increment the number. So I'm on week 3 now. So sprint school week 3. Okay. And the items I need to put in there is order. Actually, this actually needs to be in my current sprint, but I'm gonna put in this sprint right here. Create high school transcript. Am I ready to do that? I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that either. Because this one here, it's going to start. Um, let's edit this sprint. When is it supposed to start? Um, next week is when this was supposed to start. Create a presentation. Update the school Scrum Bum documentation. Ooh, I need to earn some points. So I'm gonna put that up there too. Okay. And script the program creation. Oh, dude, am I even ready for this yet? Oh, gracious life. I am not ready for that either. Okay, I'm gonna say, yeah, let's create a presentation for the kids. I think we may be ready for that. This is gonna be week 3. Yeah, week 3 it's a good time I think is to do that because that's week 3 is our we should have the best grades in there and everything. Mm, 3 weeks worth of school data is gonna be helpful. Okay, now um I want you to look at now this sprint has started and there's 15 items in there. And you see where in here it has like sprint school week 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, actually, it's everything says week 2, okay? Basically, it's taking the name of the sprint here, CWP sprint school week 2, and I have these tasks created. Okay. Now, so the next week only has 3 items. So let's go to the rules because I'm going to show you what I did. I created a an automation rule here. Create work items when the sprint starts. So when a sprint starts, I don't even think this worked, but I actually need to see if it worked. I don't know if it worked or not. So here, so the boards that I wanted that's required is this particular board, and the sprint name filter. I don't even know if that's necessary. Okay, I really don't know, but it's there. Okay, the SWP Sprint School is there. Is the sprint name filter. Now, what I want to do here is I want to create a project. I want to create a project in this particular project, or excuse me, I want to create a task in this particular project. And then I just wanted to make the task. I want to do the sprint retrospective. And I'm grabbing the sprint dot name so to have it on the end of the task. So sprint retrospective, I'm doing the sprint planning, I'm doing a daily scrum, I'm doing documentation refinement, I'm doing other stuff, right? I have a lot of tasks. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm creating 10 tasks. Okay. Automatically when the sprint starts. This was much easier for me to do when I start a sprint. It creates all these tasks for me. So I don't have to worry about putting it all in the backlog. This just made it way easier to do that. So let's go ahead and say that we automatically creates 10 tasks when at the start of the sprint, or when the sprint starts, right? We're gonna say that. Okay. So let's update that so we can have we have that. So I thought that was a pretty cool rule to create because it was getting crazy. I was like, this is crazy. Now this rule, I don't even know if this rule works because I don't remember. Okay, what am I doing? So am I supposed to be creating? It's supposed to be using this template. Yeah, I don't even know where it's putting this thing at. So I think it's connected to the board. Oh, it's in my space. Oh, I haven't even looked at my space. So I'm curious now. So let's go to that. Let's see if it's there. If my space is there. And let's see if there is a Confluence page that was created for me. No, this can't be it. August. Whoa, wait a second here. It did. It created. Oh, wait a second. Wait. Okay. Oh, before school retro. Okay. Because that was the name of that was the name of the sprint. It was before the school. Here, this is week 1 retro. Oh, dude, this is crazy. It did it. I didn't even know, right? Here it is. It's here. That's crazy. I like that. So maybe I need to maybe this is pretty cool to do on my other one. Okay. On the school project. Here it's taking the name, it's calling it retro. Um I think is that me making it call it retro? Let's see. Who's calling it retro? Oh, it's me. So I'm saying retro and then I'm taking the date and I'm doing a medium date for it. So it's coming up August the 18th. So when I close that sprint, here it goes. It creates this retrospective for me. And yeah, that's crazy. That is so crazy. I didn't even know this rule worked. This is good news, right? So the team mentioned the date, the retrospective period, and it's using a particular one. I'm right. I'm using this loved, loaned, loathed, learned. Right. It's yeah. This is interesting. Okay, and there are the choices. Let's look and see what other choices we have here. It has well, what's recommended is you can do meeting notes, end of week status report, project plan, retrospective. That's the recommended ones. The one I end up doing, those are just a retrospective, troubleshooting article, how-to article. This is very interesting. Sprint planning meeting, one-on-one meeting, 5 whys analysis, 90-day plan, all hands meeting, annual plan, one pager. This budget proposal template, business plan, one pager. So this a template you could use. Um, this is an action you can do. This is crazy. This is interesting. All these different choices. I didn't even know this stuff was in here. Career development plan. Um, these are templates, of course. So it'll spun a template based on, yeah, if we was doing the daily thing, which we already got our own format. Design sprint. There's a lot in here. I don't even know. Incident communication, interview feedback, introductory blog. Introductory blog. That's got me perked up. Performance review. Yeah, this is interesting to see all this stuff in here. But this is interesting. Very interesting. So there's a lot in here, is the point. There's a lot of templates to pull from. And I wonder if you could see these. Oh, look at that. Look at the SWOT analysis. Statement of work template. I like it. Team poster to do lists, transition plans using the editor, virtual team lunch, working agreements, year in review. Interesting. Yeah. Well, of course, we are out of here. But guys, I really wanted to share that because I felt like most definitely that rule that I had here was pretty cool. Well, I didn't even realize that this retrospective one, when a sprint is completed, that it creates that retrospective because it's here. I didn't do anything with it, but I think I was just curious on what it would look like, and here it is. And it looks like I did it for 2 weeks and didn't even really pay attention to that. So there you go. Okay. Thanks so much for hanging out with me as I share some of the ins and out I'm learning about JIra. I'm using it in the context of for my school. And I don't know if I mentioned that why I have two projects. Why do I have two projects? Well, actually, I have way more than two projects, but I'm using two different projects. So this project here is strictly for tracking their assignments. Okay. This is where I'll know what they're working on, what's in progress, and then this is the data I'm using to eventually grab their grades, and I get an email when they record their grade and put on my spreadsheet for their progress report, and then ultimately create a dashboard in Tableau. The the school work process improvement project. This one here is really strictly mine. This is where I include things that I want to keep track with what I'm doing. And it's of course this is what I'm using to say, okay, make sure I do the daily scrum with them, make sure I'm doing sprint planning at the beginning of the at the end of the week, getting ready for Monday. So retrospective that I'm doing these things. So I have them here. And so I have some other tasks in here. I need to sync the Tableau data every week. I'm doing Tableau dashboard refinement. So if there's some of these tasks I don't want to do that week, I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm not doing this task this week. That task, I just delete it. I'm not using the burn down chart or anything like that. So me in this sprint, if I decide I wanted to delete these, I don't care. I don't care about the burn down chart or the burn up chart or whatever. It doesn't really matter. All this does is just helps me to think about things in a little bit more holistic way. And there's things in here that's not school related, not too many things, but I'm trying to work on learning Python, so it's in here. It's part of my motivation there. And then um listen to Scrum books in my Audible app. It's over here too. They try to remind me, and this probably should be one of those automatic um assignments as well. You need at least one task in a sprint to start a sprint. So I do need to have a I do need to have an item that I have to add in a sprint. And of course, I've already created, if you look at my backlog, I've already created all the days for my 100 days of Python. So all the days are mapped out here already. I did those already. So if you see my previous video too, where I imported from a CSV file, a list of items directly into um in the backlog in a sense. It's the backlog, right? In the to do. So the backlog. That is another way. But I do like the automatic of assigning. So there's things that I that are not necessarily repeatable. So you notice, do I want to work on this week? No, I don't want to create a transcript this week for them. We're not quite there yet for that. So I still got some time to think about those, right? This here has a date in it, January the 20th. So I don't want to do that until January the 20th. Um, update school Scrum Bun documentation. This may be but you see, this is repeatable. So if it's going to be repeatable every sprint, it's probably best if I just put it in the automation for it to automatically update it. And this is a special one that's not part of my. I I technically could probably include it in what I call the refinement, the Tableau refinement. I think so. Do I need both of these? Tableau dashboard refinement. Just making the dashboards look better, right? Like changing some things, make it look better. This is just a sync data that I need to do every week. Every Friday, just before sprint review, I need to go ahead and sync the data. That's what I want to do there. Um, yeah, so that's why I have two projects that I work from. My original first project we did was called Organized House. We never got it off the ground. But so and these two are sort of ones that I try to work from, and I've learned a lot with just these two particular projects here. The schoolwork process and their schoolwork tracking. I've learned a lot when it comes to automation, different things like that. So I'm very, very um more comfortable working in JIra than I was a year ago. And these two right here, I don't know if they would come in play. There is some good information in some of these. This is when I was actually working on my data analytics training because I was trying to get her done, trying to set up a plan. But then this is where I was trying to do everything. I was trying to look for a job. I was trying to all the things. I was trying to learn how to create a website. I was just doing so many things. And but yeah, I never really could do it. Okay. It didn't work out, basically. Actually, it looks like I think I've already deleted it. Product roadmap. This is just a different project, right? So there was a lot going on here with this and impact assess. Yeah. So there's a lot of things in here. But it was going to be holistic as well. It was going to be holistic. It was not something that was going to be um exclusively for one thing. Because look at this, create intro for podcasts, start podcasts for homeschool, start podcasts for professional reviews, apply to 4 jobs per week, right? So there were things that I'm put that it was sort of just my whole strategic career plan. It was everything, not just it was not just one particular thing, right? Look, job hunting, branding, training, right? Financial freedom, right? There was all kind of like what goals am I going for here? Learning this tool, training, earn certifications are in here, right? So there were things I was trying to think about what I wanted to do and but look at this, learn to use the JIra whiteboard. I don't even think the whiteboard exists anymore. I think it was there for a while. And I think it may be either in the paid version now or something like that. I want to get into Alassian, excuse me, the Alassian community, which I don't think I did. Uh, I don't even know what perfection game even means. Okay. Oh, I think I know what it is. Yeah. This is perfection game is one of the retrospective tools. Okay, is what this was. Okay, so like I can go on, right? What this one was about. So that's one reason why I keep it is because it has some good stuff in it. Okay, it has some good stuff in it. And data analytics, I don't know. This one here did not get off the ground. Yeah, 0 item. So I created it and it never got off the ground. So either I'll create create this for something else, but I think what kind is this? This is a software project. Okay. This one is a software project. So mine is a software project. So software project seems like it'll allow you to do the sprints. The business projects will not. They don't run sprints in the business projects. And this one is a software project, so it can run a sprint. And then I think this one is different too. This one is a discovery project. So a total different type of project. But the discovery project, it does not do it either. It doesn't run a sprint either. It's doing something totally different, okay? It has some ideas that you're working with and you can put them in different categories. So this is with just a little bit different, okay? It's a little bit more it's crazy, okay? But the if I want to run a sprint, I stick with the software project. If I just want to do the school, which I like this business project for school, I do not recommend using Sprint that those time box for kids. You know, maybe after like 3 or 4 years and they're humming away. You know what I'm saying, doing very, very well. Maybe I could switch the um to the software project. But right now business projects work. It's way more flexible. It's just like Kanban. It's just way more flexible And they pulling the things and doing them themselves. Now, yes, I'm restraining them a little bit by putting due dates. But I went through the hard work of making that happen, coming up with the rules of 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week time box, and then automatically setting those due dates based on the start date. So there is some guidelines to make sure my rules work like I want them to. Like I don't want them doing um so it is important when they pick the assignments, and very important. It's very helpful if the day that they do the test that they go ahead and record the grade and move it. Because what that does is it gives me a more accurate due date for them, or not in this case, an actual date that they took the test. So when I enter the grade on the form, because the date is added automatically. So I would want to have the date that I put it in is the day they took the test. The day I record their grade is the day they took the test. That will be very helpful too. So, unrelated, of course, to the board, but one thing important to talk about, if you want to do it, use it to track kids' work. I think you stay away from the sprints for real. We tried the sprints. Things just kept changing. It just didn't work out. It will mess up what it looks like. So I decided I didn't want to track that anymore. But having the due dates, and then when it gets close to those due dates and they started changing colors, I think that looks a whole lot better than trying to look at this in the middle of a sprint. It's it needs to close, and it looks ugly because things aren't closing or whatever, right? It's just too much. Yeah, so I think this is an easy approach. There, of course, is some method to how I name the the records or the assignments, and I'll probably share that on another video, right? Because I think it's cool, and maybe I'll walk through my setup here and why I set it up like this. I would love to be able to I don't know. I think there may be some other things I can do to make things a little easier as well. So Jira does a lot of things. There's a lot of features in Jira, but that still doesn't mean you can't go in there and unutilize the unutilize the features, and that's what I'm doing. I'm really unutilizing. Now I am really using the labels. Okay, the labels are becoming my go-to for sure. It's something that helps me to manage and to organize the records for sure. So the labels have been a huge thing. I love the labels, because they help me with the automation, and, they just help for organizing it a whole lot better. Now I do have a label that's messed up in here, and I need to try to research the how to fix that bulk, okay? Because there's close to maybe 400 items I would have to touch, and I don't wanna have to manually have to go and deal with that. So I'm looking for a way to make that change to those records. And that's another thing too, you gotta be careful. And maybe I'll that's another video, right? That's another video. That's a different subject matter altogether. But I most definitely think it is worth worth sharing as well. Okay. This ended up being an hour. That has been an hour video. I do not recommend you watch this whole video for sure. Okay, because there is a little bit of rambling at the end. But those that have stuck out on at the end of this video, wow, I'm very impressed. Okay. Until next time. Bye.